So speak life, when the sun won't shine and you don't know why. Look into the eyes of the broken hearted, watch them come alive as soon as you speak hope, you speak love, you speak life.
Hi, and welcome to Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker. I'm absolutely thrilled and honored to have you joining me today. This is a show that features people who have gone through serious issues or difficulties and found victory and a deepened faith through the process. We also feature people who have been called to help others through their struggles. This happens every single week at this time, and it's designed to help you understand that you're not alone in your struggles, that there is help and there is also hope. The subjects for today are disability and depression. The person you will meet in just a few moments is disabled, regulated to a wheelchair. She is paralyzed from the waist down, but also she has gone through acute depression. Now, I want you to understand, depression is a very difficult subject. Depression and anxiety have no barriers. There is no race, no age limit, no gender limit. It's a difficult thing to deal with, but please understand that there is always hope. Nearly 16 million people every year face a depressive episode. I've seen it, I've tasted it. It's not a place that anyone wants to be. If you are going through depression or you know somebody who is, stick around. I pray that you find hope in what you hear today. I pray that you see that you're not alone. You may know it or you may not know it. I own a video company, and we're in the midst of making a documentary about people with disabilities and their victory and their journey to faith through the process, much like the subject of this show. I interviewed someone about a week ago that I really want you to meet. So what you're going to hear are most of the parts and pieces to that interview. This is Mary Lu Shipstad. Mary Lu was a professional skater, was a star on Disney on Ice for 12 years, toured all over the place, was and is a skating instructor and coach, and has an incredible story to tell. I suggest you sit while you listen. This is powerful. Mary Lu, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm a professional figure skating teacher right now. I'm a mother of two. I'm a daughter. And I guess my main goal in life is trying to raise those two boys as best I can.
So you're a single mom?
Single mom. I was married for 13 years and had my two boys come out of that marriage, and unfortunately it was a very abusive marriage, so that was a tough time in my life.
Okay, so visibly you're in a wheelchair, but describe your challenges.
I have several challenges, obviously a physical one, the fact that I'm in a wheelchair now. I've only been in a wheelchair for about 3.5 years. I had a car accident. So my physical challenge is just day-to-day life, getting around in a wheelchair. Everything is different for me, going to the bathroom, eating, sleeping. That's all different kind of for me now. My other huge challenge is a mental challenge. I suffer from depression and anxiety, and so I am really active in my recovery with that, as far as medication and counseling and just my own kind of coping skills that I've developed to help me with that aspect of my life.
So tell us what happened.
My accident was self-inflicted. I was just at a point in my life where I was so overwhelmed by my feelings of depression and anxiety, my feelings of worthlessness, that I thought that the world would be a better place without me. So I got in my car and drove, and I purposely ran into a telephone pole and became a paraplegic after that.
Goodness. So what happened from there?
When I woke up from the initial impact of the accident, I was in shock. I was definitely in a state of shock. I had been told, I couldn't walk. I didn't know the extent of my injury at first. I was scared. I was also shocked that I wasn't dead. My attempt had failed.
And where did that take you?
That took me into an even deeper state of depression for a while, just dealing with all the physical challenges that a person in a wheelchair might have. Everything changed for me. Every aspect of my life was different because I was dealing with it from being in a chair. I would say before I didn't give a second thought to getting up in the morning, taking a shower, getting ready, going to the bathroom, tidying up the house, getting in the car and driving to work. That was just easy, a no-brainer. But then after the accident, I have to be on a bowel and bladder program now. It takes everything more time. I have to stay patient with myself because it takes longer to take a shower and longer to get myself ready to go. And I'm not driving yet. I could drive if I take a class and get a vehicle, but and I would like to do that someday. So that's kind of the next goal on my agenda. But everything that I do, whether it's washing dishes, cooking food, that's all harder than it used to be. I can still do it all, but it's just a little bit more of a pain.
Mary Lu, what were some of the triggers of your depression before the accident?
I had a lot of financial pressure on me, being a single mother, being ultra worried about that. Finances really upset me and depressed me. Thinking about my failed marriage, and it was a very mentally and emotionally abusive marriage. And so just my feelings of depression. I've also had problems with self-esteem, feeling like I wasn't worthy of people's time and attention. And I'd say, when I got low, it kind of turned into a spiral and would just keep going lower and lower, and finally got to the point where I just felt that the world would be better off without me. Even my children, I felt, would be better off without me, which was just a lie from the depression.
You're so right. It is a lie. But I understand that feeling. But there is never a point where, in anyone's life, where the world would be better without you. There is always someone whose lives are enriched. We may not see them, they may not slap us in the face, but they are there. And you always matter to God. And what you can do on this earth for God, if you are breathing on this earth, God needs you for something. So Mary Lu, from your perspective now, looking back on it, just to help us explain this, why would you feel this way? Why?
I was at a point where I was barely functioning. I was basically having a nervous breakdown. I could barely go to work. I was barely functioning at work. My mind, I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't focus on things, and I thought, if I can't work and I can't focus and I can't provide for my children, what good am I doing my children? And I'm such a nervous wreck and I'm so down. How can I be in the least bit good for my children?
I personally believe that the devil can create a war inside our own heads, where we believe we're no good for anybody, that we can do no good. God did not create us for that. A perfect God created us to have a purpose, to have meaning, and to have fulfillment. I don't care who you are or what you've done. You have things that this society needs. You have things that God can use to glorify Him and to help others. In Mary Lou's case, a terribly abusive marriage took her to a place where she felt worthless. It created a tunnel vision where all the blessings around were blinded. It's like a horse with blinders on. You can only see the problems. You can only see the devastation. There are always blessings around you. God has a way of, at the very most perfect moment, to give us even a tiny glimpse of His glory. It's always there. The tough part about worry, about anxiety, is that we convince ourselves that we're the only ones going through this, that no one else could even understand. Mary Lu Shipstad, an interview I had about a week ago while producing a documentary on disabilities. I really want you to listen to her perspective on all this.
Everyone has struggles. It doesn't matter what your upbringing was, what your history is, the things that you've been through or haven't been through in your life. Everyone has struggles. And depression and anxiety is a real thing. It is a real illness. Nowadays, there is still a stigma attached to mental illness, that it's not really an illness, not really a sickness. And I can tell you firsthand, it is real, and it is out there, and it can be devastating on anyone's life. It doesn't matter, like I said, your financial status, your marital status. Depression does not discriminate. I guess the best way to describe depression is it almost feels like a pressing down on yourself. Everything is so black. Everything is so low. There's just not anything that can bring you joy at that time. And no matter what people do or don't do to try to cheer you up or make you happy, there's nothing that they can do to make you happy. You are just in such a state of pain. It's intense mental pain. And you know, sometimes you just want to cry out for help. I remember so many times just thinking, help me, somebody just help me. And I didn't even know what kind of help I needed. You know, I just needed somebody just to say, I'm here with you. Not that they could fix it, not that they could take it away, but I'm here with you in what you're feeling right now. So, and just, I'd say a non-judgmental type of acceptance is very important.
Mary Lu Shipstad, former competitive skater, used to be a star in Disney on Ice, was and still is an incredible skating instructor and coach, and we will talk more with her in just a minute. This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, a book about life, faith, and worry through the eyes of a dog. Dealing with Life will continue in a minute.
Coming out of the dark, I finally see the light now, and it's shining on me. You have run down every road, and you've lost your way back home, and you feel so dirty, you know you're unworthy, feeling undeserving of any love, but there's no distance too far that I can't reach you. There's no place that's so dark that I can't find you. Anywhere that you are, if you need proof, take a look at these scars. I love you. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter what you've done. You are never too far gone.
This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith. Really happy to have you in the room along with us. If you've been keeping up on the playlist today, you'll know that Mary Lu Shipstad is my guest. She was a competitive skater. She toured with Disney on Ice for 12 years. She was and is a skating instructor slash coach. And you'll also remember that she was in a tremendously abusive marriage, which led her into chronic depression, to the point of attempting to take her own life by driving a car into a tree, which left her as a paraplegic. She has little to no use of her legs, is in a wheelchair. I interviewed her for a documentary that my company is producing about disabled people and the victories and the faith that they come out with through the process. A very victorious story. What you'll hear are her answers from the interview, and I wanted you to hear this because it is so powerful. Her story of redemption, of recovery, of coming to terms with her disability and the victory she has over it. I believe it will inspire you. I believe that you, whatever your struggle is, whether it's visible like hers or whether it's deeper inside that you try to tackle by yourself, you'll understand that you're not alone in your struggles. We all struggle, and therefore we all need a powerful God, and He is a powerful God. Mary Lu, looking back at this point, on the other side of your accident, on the other side of depression, what things can you pinpoint that you would change? What would you tell yourself if you had the ability to do that?
I worried about so many things, big, small, in between, and it was such a huge waste of time. Things are going to happen. They're going to happen. And there's nothing you can do to prevent them from happening. Worrying is not a tool that is going to prevent things from happening. That is life. Things are going to happen. It's in how you handle those things. But if I had it to do over again and I could talk to myself, I would say, Mary Lu, don't worry so much about all that stuff. It's going to be okay.
So the all-important question, how does faith play in your recovery, in your transition, in your acceptance, and your embracing?
I prayed a lot. I had a lot of time to pray. I spent a lot of time in nursing homes, in doctor's offices, in hospitals. I had a lot of time on my hands where I could pray. And I had an awful lot of people, friends and family, praying for me. And I really could feel their prayers. And I just felt their strength with me and felt like I could persevere, I could keep going, that I wanted to keep going. I felt like I got back my will to live, through this prayer, this tremendous amount of prayer that was going on, just surrounding me.
So do you believe that in this process and in your recovery and through your faith, that you have figured out what's important?
Absolutely. Well, it's no longer, my career is important. I still teach skating. It's still very important to me. But the most important thing is God and family, friends. That's it. People who you can connect with and reach out to. And if you can offer help to someone in some way, some form or fashion, I still feel like I'm able to do that, and other people continue to do that for me.
Because of your car accident, you were left paralyzed. You have no use of your legs, and you are in a wheelchair to be mobile. I think it sounds like you have very much come to terms with that, but the question I have is how do you feel accepted when you're out?
In general, I find people very accepting. There are a few people who kind of talk over you like you're not there, or they totally ignore you. I've been in a mental institution before where we were just called the wheelchairs. We weren't even names or numbers, we were just the wheelchairs. So there is cruelty out there, but I choose to focus on the good, and there is definitely good out there and acceptance out there of people with handicaps. When I go to teach at the rink, the kids don't think anything that I'm in a wheelchair. They're used to me and seeing me the way that I am, and so I just go about my business and do what I know to do. And you kind of do have to get to a point, I think, of not caring so much what people think about you. That used to be such my focus. Like, I just wanted people to like me and wanted them to think favorably of me. And now, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I'm not gonna waste my time worrying about it anymore. It's such a trivial thing.
To me, that's a life lesson.
I have gotten a little bit of, I guess you could call it, negative feedback from some of the kids at the rink who I haven't taught them before, and they see me for the first time and they think, "You're a teacher? You're in a wheelchair. How could you be a teacher?" And pretty quickly they learn that I'm able to teach. I know very much what I'm doing, and I think that they respect me, and I think that they're surprised. They're surprised my teacher's in a wheelchair.
As a person with a physical disability, traveling in a wheelchair, what do you not like? What do you prefer people not to do?
Well, one thing I really don't like is I don't like for people to push me in my wheelchair, because it makes me feel weak. And I don't want to be weak, I want to appear strong. So I like to push myself. And some people will ask me, "Can I push you?" And most of the time I'll just say, "No, thank you. That's okay. I can do it myself." I'm very stubborn, and I like to try to do things by myself, but I do know my limitations, and if it's something I can't reach on a shelf, or something that just physically I know I'm not going to be able to lift something or do something, I feel totally comfortable asking a total stranger, "Hey, can you help me with this?" I'm to that point now where I wouldn't think twice about it.
I think there's a question that a lot of people ask in their minds, probably not out loud, but I'll go ahead and ask it. Were you angry with God?
I guess in the beginning I felt like God broke me. God allowed me to be broken, and I was angry with God. But as time went on and I could see His infinite wisdom in the hand that I had been dealt, I could see His compassion on me and His love for me. But it wasn't an instantaneous thing. I definitely went through a time where I was very angry with God.
So what about now?
God is not done with me yet. I believe that so strongly. I believe I have a story to tell. I believe that everything that I've gone through is not for nothing. I've been able to share my story with other people who have struggled with mental illness, people who have struggled with physical challenges, and I feel like I can help people. And that is, God is showing me more ways every day, whether it's helping a family member or helping a friend or reaching out even further than that. God is showing me more ways where I can be constructive in that way.
So would you go as far as to say this is a blessing?
Yes, I would. It's a tremendous blessing. I wouldn't change it now for the world. If I could go back and have my same physical capabilities as I had before, I wouldn't go back, because I feel like it's changed me as a person. It's made me a less judgmental person. It's made me a stronger person. It's made me a more compassionate person. But I'd say the biggest component would be non-judgmental, because before I'd say I was kind of a judgmental person. I looked at people and was quick to make judgments about them. And now, because of everything that I've been through and the things that I've done that were terrible, I feel like I have no right to judge another person for anything.
Nor do any of us. Mary Lu Shipstad, paraplegic due to a self-inflicted accident. We will hear more of her powerful story in just a minute. This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, and we'll deal with more in just a minute.
Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. I've seen dreams that move the mountains, hope that doesn't ever end, even when the sky is falling. I've seen miracles just happen, silent prayers get answered, broken hearts become brand new. That's what faith can do.
You're listening to Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker. Nice to have you joining us. I'm author of One Dog's Faith, a book about life, trust, and worry through the eyes of a dog. If you're a dog lover, a worrier, or a touch of both, I think you'll like this. Written from my dog's perspective. Talks about the silly things dogs do, and maybe they have a little more meaning than we give them credit. One Dog's Faith is available through Amazon.com, through Cokesbury.com, BarnesandNoble.com, also available at Cedar Springs Christian Stores here in town, Long's Drug Store, Farragut Pharmacy, and more. We're talking with Mary Lu Shipstad, the subject of an interview on a documentary my company is producing that happened about a week ago. This highlights victories of area people who have disabilities and the stories, the powerful stories that they have. If you happen to have missed Mary Lou's story, I'm going to get her to recap a little bit. I'll warn you, it's very powerful.
Well, I had been a competitive skater, ice skater, and a show skater, and an ice skating coach, and throughout my life, and wound up marrying someone who I met on the road. And I had a very, very difficult marriage. It was severely emotionally and mentally abusive. And there were many times when I thought I wish that it was physically abusive, because people couldn't see my bruises or see my injuries. But it was severe abuse. And that kind of led me to a state of depression, having financial concerns, caring for my two boys as a single mother, being the primary breadwinner, the primary parent in the home. All those responsibilities started to overwhelm me. Everything started to overwhelm me. Brushing my teeth overwhelmed me. I just got to such a point of depression and anxiety that I was barely functioning. And I started to have suicidal ideation. I started to think, everyone would be better off without me. The world would be better off. My children would be better off. My family would be better off without me. And those thoughts were in my mind constantly the thoughts of wanting to hurt myself or wanting to kill myself. I had one incident where I took an overdose of my prescription medication, and I was in a coma for 3 days, and I almost lost my life from that. Came out of it, was still totally depressed, totally anxious, still struggling tremendously. And that's when I decided that I would really do this for sure this time. And I got in my car with the purpose of running into a telephone pole and killing myself. And I did that. I did just that. Physically, I had an injury to my T12 on my spine, the T12 level, which I couldn't exactly tell you even where that is. I just know that I am a paraplegic and I have an incomplete injury, which means that I do have some movement in my legs. I can't walk, and in hindsight, I'm appalled at what I did. I'm shocked by what I did. I'm embarrassed by what I did. But I was at such a point of suffering and in such pain, physically, emotionally, spiritually, that was the only solution that I saw. But in hindsight, of course, looking at it now, 3.5 years away from that car accident, I can see that was not the answer. I should have hung on. I could have hung on. But I am where I am right now, and I want to make something constructive of my life.
I think one of the things in the process of healing is forgiving yourself. Talk about that.
I think that forgiveness was a very long process for me, and I'm still in the process of forgiving myself. There are times when I realize my physical limitations and what I could be doing with my boys, and I get very angry with myself and very down on myself because I'm the one that put me in the situation that I'm in right now. But I'm learning forgiveness. I'm learning compassion. I try to view it as if I'm viewing someone else. Would I want to give them compassion? Would I want to give them the benefit of the doubt? Would I want to give them love? Yes, I would. I would want to give them those things. So why don't I deserve those things too? But that is, again, it's a process. I have my days where I'm easily forgiven and my days where I'm not forgiven at all.
But the beauty of this story is your recovery. You went from a very deep, dark place. You, through circumstances, went even deeper and darker. But today you smile. Talk about the recovery from depression. There is hope. There is recovery.
My recovery from depression, I'd say, it had a physical, a spiritual, and a mental component to it. Physical, I did physical therapy, which really helped me, kind of get those endorphins going again and gave me a physical purpose, to try to make myself stronger. Mentally, there are just things that I do every day. I meditate, I listen to positive speakers on CD. I try to read positive things and listen to positive music. And then probably the biggest component is the spiritual component. I just continued in my prayers, continued reaching out to the faith community. I was in nursing homes for many months, and priests would come out to visit me, and people from the parishes in the different cities that I was in would come out to visit me and talk to me, and just knowing that all those people were praying for me gave me tremendous strength and gave me the will to want to continue to pray more and to grow in my faith.
Absolutely. And I think through a godly perspective, we can realize that there are always blessings.
I think that in any life, you're going to have your wonderful, great moments, and you're going to have your terrible, lowest of the low moments. And you've got to really grasp on to those joyful, great moments and use those to help you carry through and carry on with your daily life, with encouraging other people and trying to continue on with theirs. That there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, there is joy after pain. There is the sunshine after the rain. There is this hope and there is this light. It is a true thing that is out there, and you have to sometimes reach for it and hold on to it like just something precious. How could we care about other people? How could we be compassionate to other people if we hadn't experienced the low times, the devastating times, the sad times? You know, that's why there are support groups. People reach out to people who have been through a similar situation.
Very true. And it also helps to realize that we are not alone in our struggle.
Life can be extremely difficult. It's difficult for everybody. Everybody has their trials and tribulations. Everybody has their difficult times. But that is the norm. That is the norm, are those difficult times. But there are the good times too. There are the joyous times, and you've got to hang on to those and hold on to those. And you learn from your difficult times. You learn what inner strength you have, what strength God has given you through these difficulties. You learn and you grow and you become, to me, a more complete person when you go through a difficult circumstance.
Mary Lu Shipstad, from the interview that I had with her about a week ago for a documentary on people with disabilities and the victories that they have. Such powerful insight and such a powerful story. We have just a little bit more in a moment from Mary Lu and her advice to anyone facing anxiety and depression. You don't want to miss that. This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, and we'll deal with more in just a moment.
Don't let it get you, don't let it get you down. Don't let it get you, don't let it get you down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who says you gotta have it all figured out? Who says you'll never feel alone in the crowd? Who says you gotta be like everyone else? Who says? Who says? Who says?
This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker, author of One Dog's Faith, and we have been talking with Mary Lu Shipstad, a person who, through a terribly abusive marriage, went through acute depression and attempted suicide by running her car into a telephone pole and ended up a paraplegic. A very powerful story, but also a victory in the fact that she is now very successful in her career as a skating instructor and also helping others who are suffering from depression and ways to work through it. Mary Lu, did you believe that this could be a blessing, that you could actually help people?
Probably not. I mean, I know I can help some people, but I probably maybe don't realize how far-reaching that could be. I guess, you know, God is revealing that to me, and little by little, maybe that's all He thinks I can take at a time.
So what's the victory to you?
The victory is, for me, is that I have joy in my life. I have happiness. I have fulfillment. I'm able to continue on with my career as a skating teacher. I'm so blessed to be able to continue as a mother, and I'm a grandmother now. I'm so joyful that I am able to be in my grandson's life. I'm here. I'm here, and I am able to tell that little boy that I love him, you know, every day possible that I can. Just to have my joy back, to me, is a huge miracle. It is a miracle when I think of the things that I've gone through and physically what I am now. God has not allowed me to have a pity party. He has brought me up out of that and has challenged me to pull myself up by the bootstraps and to rely on His strength when I need His strength.
So what would you tell someone if you ran across them and you knew that they were suffering from acute depression, or if they were just terribly anxious? What would you say?
You're not alone. There are always people out there who care about you. There's always people who are feeling the same feelings that you are. I know I went through a stage where I felt like I was the only one in the world that thought about suicide 24/7. But there are other people out there that are in intense pain, that are going through depression and anxiety, that are feeling the same exact feelings that you are, and you may be able to reach out and help that person.
So what would you say to someone listening right now who has the word suicide even on their brain? What would you tell them?
Before you would make any kind of a drastic move to take your own life, I would want to tell you from the bottom of my heart that people do care, that people do love you. You know, I would say I care and I love you. It might not seem so right now, but things will get better. I will reach out to you and help you in whatever way that I can. There are people out there, there are agencies out there that can help you, that will sit with you, that will stay with you, talk to you. Suicide prevention hotlines, hospitals. You know, they are prepared to take you as you are and help you in whatever capacity they can help you. Suicide is not the answer, because there are people who love me. There are people who care about me. They want me to be here, and I want to be here now. I love my life. I love my family. Suicide is not the answer. I'm so glad I'm here for my children. They need their mom. They need you. People need you. You may think nobody in the world needs you, but that's not true. People need you. My perspective of suicide right now is that it is not an option, that there are people to help you. People will help you. There is help out there for you, no matter how down you are, no matter how despondent you are. You can be the lowest, at your lowest point ever in your life and feel like you're drowning, but there is help out there for you. There are people out there, there are institutions, there are communities that will help you. They'll hold your hand, they'll be with you, they'll look at you with compassion and non-judgment. There's so much shame and guilt surrounding suicide, but I see now it's not a good option. The people who love you will be devastated by this. The people who care about you will be distraught about this. You will not be able to help or your family members. Like, I have 2 boys. My older son struggles with depression. I want to help him. I want to be there for him in whatever capacity that he needs me. If it's just sitting there beside him while he cries, I'll be there.
Mary Lu Shipstad, thank you so much for your story, your powerful story, your willingness to step through the pain and help others. I pray that your testimony, your story, touches someone in a positive way and offers hope, offers help, and a pathway to our Savior and our King, Jesus. Through him, all strength originates, and that's where we find it. This is Dealing with Life. I'm Tom Baker. I pray that God's glory shines directly on you.